All right. Wonderful crowd tonight. I'm really, really happy to be here with my daughter Molly. I was asked by Molly if I would spend a few minutes, not a long time, talking about my experience with MS. I've had it for 44 years, not diagnosed, no diagnosis. In the old days, no diagnosis, no medicine, no diagnoses. I had it first when I was 23. I lost my eyesight, classic syndrome, optical neuritis, and they sent me to the hospital and they ran all these tests on me and I thought they'd say something to me. Oh no, goodbye, no problem. I think they knew what it was, but no information, just live a nice, quiet life. 10 years later, and I did. I lived a wonderful life, not a quiet life. I lived my life and had no idea that I even had anything. 10 years later, exactly to the year 1985, this wonderful daughter of mine, standing next to me, Molly, was born. Beautiful little girl, and classic situation. I've had kind of a classic course of MS. Woke up one morning, beautiful little girl, 3 months old, got out of bed, and all of a sudden I just was numb from the waist down. And it's like, this is weird. This is weird. Went to work, got weirder and weirder. Came home from work half day, and I said, this is strange. Went to the hospital, and that was when they first said, second episode. In the old days, they would tell you your second episode, but not on your first episode. Not like today. Today, you go in and they say, you have MS, early stages. This is what we can do for you. You have to do this now, not then. So then I went through all the medicines. I followed every new medicine that came up, and I would try that, and I would try another one, and life went on. And I had little exacerbations, and I get over those, and life just went on. Loved Tisabri, that was my favorite medicine. I was found to be JC virus positive, so just as I was settling into that wonderful drug, I had to get off that wonderful drug. I even went and had them retest me. I was so sure it couldn't possibly be that I was JC virus positive. So, but I was, so I had to get off of that and tried other drugs, and but always remain very hopeful. Very hopeful now. Very hopeful for all the new research. I read a lot, and once you start reading a lot, you read more and more, but you get more kind of stuff. Probably a time that is stuck with me that I have now kind of held up as my motto, and that is, it was probably about 2010. I was in an airport, and I went through the foolishness of trying to pretend that I looked fine, that I didn't really have anything wrong with me. Everyone could see I couldn't really walk, but I tried to look like I was normal. I went up to ask information to a lady in the airport, and she looked at me, and she said, you having trouble walking? And I said, well, just a little bit. And she said, really, what's going on? I said I had MS, and she says, oh, you know what? You need a cane. Honey, you need a cane. And she says, just get over it. That's my motto. Just get over it. Just keep going on. Don't don't worry if someone looks at you. Just get over it. False modesty is the worst thing in the world. I tell everybody I have MS, not to have them say, oh, I'm so sorry. I tell everyone because I want everyone to know about MS. I think the more people know about MS, they're more comfortable with it, and the more they are knowledgeable about all the stuff that is going on. So I'm done. I'm not quite done. I am very hopeful for the new medicine coming down. There's a new medicine.
But that's my job to talk about.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Okay, to my daughter.
So thank you to my wonderfully brave mom. As she said, she's had it for over 40 years. So I've, my entire childhood, I've grown up watching how well she's done with this disease, and it's really been remarkable. I was diagnosed in 2013 with MS, and I had just turned 28, just recently been married, and I had known for about a year that something was seriously wrong, and I guess that's what it was, but I held off, and my statistical chance of getting it was still under 1%, even with a parent. And finally, I did get diagnosed. I sat in Dr. Silverstein's office, and many of you who know Dr. Silverstein know his demeanor, and I cried, and I was shocked, and I was upset, even though I knew what was coming in my heart, and he looked at me and said, "There's nothing to be upset about. This is gonna be fine. You're not going to have your mother's disease." He knew all about her history. He said, "This is going to be different. You don't understand. The medicine available today wasn't available for her. It was too late for her in many regards. It's not too late for you." And right away, he got me on Tysabri, the drug my mother mentioned. I won't explain what it is. It's a painless infusion once a month. Look it up if you care to know more. And I just passed my 5-year anniversary on the drug a few weeks ago. And I'd been in a study where he was following people who were recently diagnosed on this drug. And just a few weeks ago, they said that I've moved into a disease-free category. I haven't had any new progression since 2013, 2014. And of course, I can't know what 10, 15, 20 years down the line will bring. I don't know if this is all for the medicine. I don't know if it's a genetic luck. I don't know, but I know that what my mom talked about with hope is there, because the drugs available today are transformative. And the drugs they're working on in research and design are even more transformative. So who's to say there won't be a cure or a drug that will reverse the symptoms of the people who've been suffering? And I mostly also want to end on a hopeful note, because 2 years ago, almost, I had a daughter, and I sat in Dr. Silverstein's office and I said, "Well, what about her? I know it's statistically small. What about her in 30 years? And he said, "You have no idea what is going to be available in 30 years. The progress we made in 20 years is incredible. It's remarkable." And I just want to thank everybody for coming, because your support has directly contributed to the success of these drugs and what will be on the market in the next 5, 10, 20 years. So thank you for your awareness. Thank you for supporting the National MS Society. Thank you to all the organizers of this event. You're directly making our lives better and the lives of our family, many of whom are here tonight. So really thank you for your support. And I'm going to give it back to Sharon.